Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Bruce Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. I'm down at my in-laws. Everybody's still sleeping. I don't know where the freaking coffee is, so I'm going to go out and get me some coffee, and I'm going to pick up some stuff from Home Depot because, of course, I got the honey-do list for the in-laws. I got to put in a couple of outlets, and Michael's not here. He's back painting shelves and stuff at the shop and things. So I got to put in a couple of outlets, hang some curtains, and do some stuff. But the work we did over there came out really good. They're happy, and my mother-in-law's moving around better and all that stuff. So all is well. But here we have Mike McCarthy. And everybody's going through and they're talking about, well, it seems like Jerry Jones is being a little more hands-off for Jason Garrett than, Mike McCarthy. Because you can truly look at what the Dallas Cowboys are doing and the people that he's bringing in, that these aren't people that are tied with the Dallas Cowboys. And you look at Mike McCarthy, and it seems like he is trying to bring in a lot of experience and a lot of different perspectives, getting Fossil from the Rams for the special teams and things, getting Mike Nolan, who was part of the Baltimore Ravens' great defenses in the early 2000s. You see him, but, Joe Phoeben, offensive line coach, who was a head coach of the Miami Dolphins. You have head coaching experience, and you have guys that have coached on teams that have been winners. And people are saying, well, how come he didn't do this for Jason Garrett? I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate here for a second. Because do we know that Jason Garrett was capable of making all of those decisions? Think about this for a second. Jason Garrett became offensive coordinator after only being a quarterback coach under Nick Saban in Miami. 1 year. 1 year. He then became head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. No experience. Was it that Jerry Jones wanted to be the guy there doing the team building and coaching and all that for the credit, or was he doing it because Jason Garrett needed the help? Was it that we kept the system in place because that's the only thing Jerry Jones knew? I'm putting it out there because people say, well, he should have let Jason Garrett call plays. Well, Jason Garrett called plays for 2 years. He was in charge of calling plays. But you would see things that we would do that would make you scratch your head, and they took the play calling away from him. I'm dyslexic. So they put together people that would help me, resources to help me learn and do the job. Still to this day, you guys know I'm a name busher. When I look at a name and try and speak it phonetically, can't do it. TGDTV. When I see your name, it just screws my head. I literally, the letters just go all over the place because I have that issue. I'm not saying that Jason Garrett's learning disabled, but what in Jason Garrett's repertoire or his experiences or his resume says, I know what people to put in positions here to be successful. I know all of these coaches to hire because I've had the experience. And maybe that's where Jason Garrett looked for help, or they realized he needed help in building that. Is that a possibility? Can we at least give benefits of the doubt? Because think back to when Bill Parcells came in, and you can look at guys like Dave Campo in the same situation, never been a head coach before and things like that. And Cowboys are helping him because they don't have all the skill and the training. Bill Parcells, he brought in his people. He brought in people that weren't tied to the Cowboys. That's why he had Sean Paytons and things in there. He ended up bringing guys that he knew. And he was one who famously said, if I'm going to cook dinner, I need to buy the groceries. And Bill Parcells picked a lot of the players that were there for Jason Garrett. And as you look at the whole Jason Garrett era in totality, you look at what happened with players. A lot of times we'd have a player here that couldn't do anything, but yet they'd go on elsewhere and develop and become really great players. You know, Marcellus Bennett is a great example of that. Marcellus Bennett, between Jason Witten not allowing him to get on the field and them working with him, he didn't develop until he left here. And then he became a really great tight end. You look at all the quarterbacks that came in here, you know, they drafted, they brought in, they were never ever able to develop them. Dak Prescott came in with what he knew and was thrust into the limelight right then and there, and it continued from where he was. Tony Romo was developed by Sean Payton and Bill Parcells. So then you wonder, when you get a guy like Brandon Wheaton and you have him for a year and a half, you have a great running back, you have the best offensive line in football, yet you still can't coach him to win a game. But then he goes to the Texans on a week and a half's worth of practice, ends up winning them a game that gets him into the playoffs. So maybe Jason Garrett was limited and needed that help. He needed those guys to be picked by somebody else. And that this was the family hire. And maybe that's why Jerry Jones didn't want to give up on him. Is that a possibility? Another thing that I think is, as I look at Mike McCarthy and the crew that he's putting together, and of course, it doesn't matter what you have. You know, there's Cowboy fans out there that are screaming right now for Tom Brady, and you get Tom Brady, and they still wouldn't be happy with that. It's just the nature of being a Dallas Cowboys YouTuber and things. You just got to understand this is what happens with you guys. But as I look at Mike McCarthy putting this group together and looking at all the experiences and things, I look at a guy who is being like a CEO. He is delegating and putting people in. He is going to be the guy in charge with a vision, and then he's going to have all of these other guys taking the vision and enacting it with the team. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's how you coach a team. You can't be the guy that's always there making the sausage. You need to be the guy that ends up making sure that I got a guy who can make the sausage. And so, I'll call you right back in. My wife probably just woke up and like, where are you? So I'm going to go to Home Depot to get plugs so I can fix the outlets. You need to make sure that you have guys that can take your vision and make it a reality. I'm excited about the way it's going. I think you've got a guy with a lot more experience than most people believe in. But it's funny because everybody's like, oh man, you know, we just didn't go for somebody innovative and things like that. You know, Matt Rule gets a 7-year, $60 million contract, and right now NFL owners are like, if that doesn't work in Carolina, that thing will blow. I mean, it will be ugly. That's a whole lot to invest in a guy who has no experience on the NFL level. Might work out, but thus far, the numbers say that it doesn't on a regular in college. And it's kind of amazing that Lincoln Riley, another one of those hot ones, hasn't done any interviews, never heard about anybody interviewing. And the same thing about Damn. Urban Meyer. Interesting. Well, hope you guys have a great day. I am going to go ahead and get shopping here at Home Depot. And I'm going to get me some coffee. I'll see you guys soon.